Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good night, all depending on where you are around the world. We're blessed tonight again to be back with our latest episode of our podcast, Milton Bell Global Media Podcast, Coach's Corner. And once again, I'm honored to have a legendary basketball coach from Christopher Newport University, Coach Roland C. Ross Jr. Coach Ross, are you there with us, my brother?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back tonight, Coach. We're blessed to have you back again tonight. How's your day going? Tell us a little bit about your day. And a lot of people ask me, hey, what does Coach Ross do throughout his daily runs and practices and things? So I want to start right off, Coach, talking about you. And tell us what your day consists of. What does a legendary championship-winning coach do from the time he hits his office dealing with recruits? Give us a little bit of inside scoop on what you do on a daily basis to help these young men.
Oh, that's kind of a tough question because most really good coaches, man, they're very private. And
yes,
so
yes.
For me, every day is a different day, but the thing about every day being a different day that this day and time with the landscape of all kinds of issues with the time of the season of recruiting, we kind of take each day as it comes with a privilege. It's a privilege to be. What old folks used to say is it's better to be seen than to be not seen. So
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'm just really blessed and thankful that able to wake up and have the function of my limbs and be able to have a sound mind.
Yes, indeed.
And so a general day for Coach Ross is very unpredictable. We try to get up every day and try to make sure that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's and get your to-do list out. And this is the time of the year right before college is about to open back up for the upcoming school years that you try to get all your honeydews done.
Yes.
That's very hard. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a measure of basketball, and I like to listen to a little bit of jazz as I go through my morning and get ready for the recruiting season. This is kind of the end of a great year last year, getting ready to go into uncharted waters where we haven't seen what's about to happen with these incoming, what you would call student athletes that have promised us that they're going to come to the university and give us their best shot, and just a little art it in and try to finish up scheduling and try to enjoy the end of the summer. But more importantly, we just try to get the things done that haven't been done and try to spend time with family.
Yes, indeed, Coach. Speaking of which, I get so many people that ask me about you, and we've been getting some great feedback about your wisdom and who you are, and people are getting a chance to do some research on who Coach Roland Ross is, and I'm excited to be able to share you with the world and having you aboard of our podcast and having your family and people get a chance to understand who one of my mentors is and the genius basketball coach that is Coach Roland Ross from Christopher Newport University. You and I were talking a little while ago, Coach, about Team USA winning today versus Serbia. I did not get a chance to see the game, but from what I understood, they were down going into the fourth quarter by more than 10. So for them to come back and win, I'm actually looking at ESPN while we're live, and I'm looking for something to come on and to tell me who did what. But what are your thoughts on Team USA? Steve Kerr being, speaking of coaches, Steve Kerr being the head coach of Team USA. Have you had a chance to see any games this Olympic summer, Paris 2024?
I've I've kind of seen bits and pieces of a few games, and I'm just really excited just to just to see those guys out there representing the USA, and with the way that I'm wired, I like to always think of why does the USA have an elitist mindset in everything that we do when it comes to sports. And then when you look out there and see everybody participating, this country has a winning mindset. And so, for today, I was out taking care of some last minute school items, and I was following a little bit. And as a coach, sometimes I try to tie the game of basketball into real life, real time reality. And old folks used to say sometimes, in order for you to reach the moon, you got to at least shoot for the stars. And so I looked at that. I looked at the result today was the U.S. might have needed that type of game in order to propel them into really, really being their best foot forward going into the gold medal run. Sometimes you get complacent when you got overabundance of talent, and for them to be down like they were and be able to come back shows a lot of not just talent, but a lot of character. Because, when you assemble a team of just talent, sometimes that's the hardest thing to be able to do is win with talent, and blend it in a way in which you can be successful. And, I think they needed that. They needed that. That's a wake-up call that, at any moment, you can lose, but they found a way to get it done today. So I think they will be ready for that gold medal run.
Yeah. It's incredible what these young men are able to do. Now, how you and I talk a lot, and we always compare eras and generations and players. I have to ask you, which do you think, and they're comparing the 92 Dream Team to today's team. I know it's an easy answer for me. I already know what you're going to say, but for our listeners, I would love for you to answer it in your own words. Which team do you prefer?
Well, evolution, that word evolution, everything is always changing. Nothing stays the same. And I think for this era is exciting entertainment, more sometimes isolation basketball, where you get a chance to see, individual guys that have like just individual packages. I mean, when you look out there on the court and you got, a couple 7-footers, 6'9", point guard and a point forward, and then you got, like today, I was just listening, my understanding is, like Steph Curry, but he was shooting, he scored 14 of the first 15 points in a game today. That's unheard of.
Wow.
So, but I think what happens is the game today is so individualized. Sometimes you miss out on the word team. Mm-hmm. You see individual guys do very, very individual things. But I would say back in years ago, you know, it was a lot of it was done within a team concept of just what they used to call finding a way to get it done. You know, you have, and I mentioned this to you before when we get to talking sometime, is, you know, back to the basket big is unheard of as much now. Yeah. The other night I watched the U.S. man and Abid, man, he was shooting threes like it was okay, you know. But I guess for me, you know, what era are you asking me? What era would I take? Which do I like the most?
Who do you think would win?
Well, first of all, one is already proven. One haven't proven yet to win the whole thing. You know, we'll find out. You know, we'll find out. But for the most part, the U.S. have done very well in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And you know, refresh my memory. Who's the starting five on the team of the era that you're talking about?
For our era, 92 was Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing. Okay,
all right. And I used to always like to get in these kind of conversations because what you just named was, you know, 2 out of 5 best players of all times at that position.
Right.
Okay. Now, the argument could be, well, you know, you got LeBron is certainly in the conversation of 1A or 1B. And then you got Kevin Durant, you know. But I just, you know, I'm a Michael guy. I'm a Magic guy. You know, Barkley possesses a force at the small forward. And then you just talking about just blue-collar guys. Now, the comparison between the blue-collar guys of, you know, like a Scottie Pippen or Dennis Rodman is when you start talking about Bam. You know, Bam is in that kind of blue-collarish. But when you look at the thing that I think is changed the most is that with the U.S. team now is what puts them over the top is they got a lot of talent, but they actually got several blue-collar guys that kind of keep a lot of the stars in check. When you start talking about both guards from the Celtics, I mean, you know, neither one of those guys are like all-time great, but they're very, very good. So I guess what I was saying, what I want to say, you know, I'm like, you know, I guess I may have to shade. I mean, I'm back, you know, I'm a Magic guy.
Magic guy, yeah. Yeah. It's, and like you said, it's to be seen if these young men win the gold. I think it's on Saturday this weekend. Don't quote me on the day. But it's quite impressive what these young men are doing. Of course, you got Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. You mentioned Bam Adebayo, Anthony Edwards. You really got some real nice talent on that squad. Now, whether or not they turn out to be as good as the 92 squad, those guys are Hall of Famers already. So it's to be seen, I think. But I think you and our listeners get a chance to understand what it is that you and I talk about all day. We compare time periods and players and Wilt Chamberlain. And so I know you love doing those questions. So I thought I would return the favor live tonight on our podcast. Of course, we are live tonight on our Milton Bell Global Media Podcast, August 8th, 2024. And once again, I'm here with our championship-winning coach, Coach Roland C. Ross, tonight on our podcast, Coach's Corner. And we're talking about Team USA. We're talking about some of the players and the comparison that I think I read it this morning. They were comparing the dream team from 92 to the 2024 LeBron James led team that played today. We beat Serbia. I think it was in the fourth quarter. To start the fourth quarter, we were down. I think it was 10 or so, and wind up winning. And so it's one of those things, Coach. Not only is the Team USA male team doing well, the female team is doing well as usual. They normally have a pretty good, some competition towards the end, but I'm sure you will agree all of our sports are doing well. I think the number of gold medals that the USA has won so far, don't quote me, but we are clearly ahead of the other countries. If I've been keeping up with the standings, I think I saw yesterday we're leading the pack as usual, and that's kind of what we expect, to lead the pack. We signed a new client this, I think it was 2 days ago, Charmaine Lilly from Richmond, Virginia. And I wanted to ask you, Coach, what's your, I know you and I talk a lot about female basketball and especially female pro basketball, but what's your interpretation? I think we talked about it before, but what's your interpretation, or how you feeling about the explosion in the female professional basketball and the female NCAA? We have some of our sisters like Dawn Staley really leading the pack, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. What's your feeling towards the females and the pros and us signing some new clients and trying to help them with their pro career? I never asked you that before, I don't think, even in our private conversations. Pro female basketball, where do you see it in the future?
Well, that's a great question, Coach Bell. You know, I just happen to be blessed to be in a household with three ladies that were all basketball inclined and very very athletic, and they very competitive. And one thing I will say about the rise of women basketball, not just women basketball, but just women's sports in general, there seems to be I'm trying to figure out the right word to use, cross understanding between what is exciting and entertaining for men are equally as exciting and entertaining for the women. And so when you look at college athletics and high school athletics, and that key word that comes about now is called gender equity. Mm-hmm. I'm excited because what it does do is it brings about in households that have young men and young women, just the camaraderie as a family to be able to support one another in a quest to be very good at something. The days of there's still days that young girls are going to be very ladylike and participate in some activities or sports like gymnastics and dance. But now I tell you, when you watch the Olympics or when you watch the World Games, there are almost like it was this year with the NCAA National Championship. You're talking about there was more viewers just to see, because the men have gotten a lot of notoriety for many a year.
Yeah.
And now what is happening is, they call it trying to place a balanced pendulum spectrum on women that can have the same kind of results doing the same kind of sports. They just have to be, the exposure has to be there where the viewers are excited about, wow, like before there was a Steph Curry, there was a Reggie Miller. Let's not forget there was the guy that used to shoot the ball to play with the Celtics.
Ray Allen.
There was a Ray Allen. There was a Reggie Miller. Steph just happened to rise real fast and real quick. Is because the 30 to 50 point games off of threes was unheard of. But now you have a female that is kind of somewhat in that kind of mode of, a young superstar that really can shoot the ball, that has become more entertainment for the women. So now people can say, well, the men are not the only one that can perform. And to even take it a step further, for years, nobody said anything about, most women would sit there and say, wow, I'm going to watch Kareem, or I'm going to watch Wilt, or I'm going to, in this day and time, I'm going to watch, I guess what's the guy for Denver Nuggets, Djokovic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what the rise is now is how many people are close to Brittany Griner. Is did I say it right?
Yeah, Brittany Griner. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Girls with size that can do some phenomenal things. Even got, they got young ladies dunking the basketball.
Yeah.
So I am excited that there is a trending change in, trying to be able to have that gender equity, so that the viewers can, men and women, then we have the option. Do we want to sit there and watch a NBA game, or do we want to watch a WNBA game?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm blessed that, my household, we're able to watch both.
Yes.
And hopefully I answered your question, but yeah,
sure.
I like the rise of it, because what society is doing is making comparisons between, on the male side, guys that have strong notoriety, which has helped the young ladies who are somewhat not necessarily equal, but is good in their respective positions. And it's kind of interesting to see the growth of it, to see how it's evolving, and it's kind of cool.
Yes, it is. It's funny, while you and I are sitting here talking, I have two computers going, and Asia Wilson, the female basketball player for the Las Vegas Aces, just came on. She has a Gatorade commercial. She's pretty incredible too. I didn't mention her name in the beginning with Angel Reese, and I think she's the MVP, if not the best player in the league. And she has endorsements with Gatorade and other sponsorship. So it's pretty cool to see. And one thing you said, Coach, that really stood out to me, it made sense. I never thought about it that way. But in the household, when parents have kids, instead of everyone in the household only going to the son's basketball games, now everyone can also support the daughters as well. And I never thought about that, Coach. That's incredible, because now everyone is pulling for everyone. Everyone has a chance to be great, and everyone can excel at whatever they're great at, whether it be education, sports, politics, whatever it is. Each person has a chance to be supported on an equal playing field. And if that makes any sense, what I'm saying. And I never thought about it like that until you just said that.
Well, that's the beauty of life. You hopefully you are groomed and raised in a way in where everyone can have the same amount of excitement and camaraderie at a home, at a school, on a job, and now what has happened is for the Olympics, which I'm kind of excited, man, because what I've done there is try to enhance my just my knowledge of other things other than just basketball. And I love track and field, and I love basketball. But when I'm watching the Olympics, I spent half the time. I mean, most of the time I'm watching these different sports, like the women rowing. I watched the women. I guess they were running around the countryside, like a marathon. And, I've just finished watching the singles women table tennis, and what happens is, because I coached a little bit of girls, especially when I was able to coach. I told you, you get a chance to coach your kids in AAU or rec league. Oh my gracious, there's nothing better feeling than to see them grow. Because now what I'm out here watching there is, and I'm not saying that the women have taken a page out of the male's book in terms of competitiveness, but the women in these Olympic Games from all around the world, they're not out there trying to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not out, like the most impressive sport that I like, that I guess is the young African American girl in the that's the gymnast, who's won so much. I can't even call her name right now, but
Simone Biles.
Yes.
Right. Yes. She's incredible. She is incredible.
And so, to answer your question, to have a young lady to be exposed, like yourself. I mean, you went to Europe. You flew across the Pacific to just enhance your basketball skills in another country. And now what is happening is that the females are doing the exact same thing. And before you know it, and if you, like you said, we talked about this before, you look at the NBA draft, the first three out of 5 or 6 picks were
foreign players.
Yeah.
Foreign players.
So is that something to look forward to in the WNBA? And I was watching the young ladies in the FIBA. Man, you got some girls over there playing 3-on-3 that's giving some of these other teams fits.
Yes, indeed. Yes, coach.
So anyway, to be able to I guess expand my understanding of the 2 words that I'm using from watching the Olympics. Why do we want to win so much? At everything.
Yeah.
maybe that's a question I can ask you. Why do you think the U.S. wants to win at everything? They want to listen. They want to win in how the Olympics are being presented to the viewers, and they got Dwayne Wade was on there doing the commentating for the basketball game. So, can you tell me, Coach Bell, the mentality of a U.S. citizen?
It's a very easy answer. Great question. Easy answer. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. It's pride, ego. We feel as though we are the best in everything. Most of the times when we go to another country, we look down upon the country that we're going to because we feel as though we are better, our country is better, and everything we have is the best in the world. So I'm assuming that's just my humble opinion from having traveled abroad most of my adult life. And it's something we do. It could be looked at as a gift and a curse because we expect to win. When the USA team, men and women, go over there in whatever sport it is, they expect to win just because the people before them won. right? And that's just what we do. And we train hard. We have the best technology. We have the best of everything, the best of hydration and the recovery and the machines and everything, the best shoes. So it's almost as if we expect to be great because we have the best of everything to prepare us to be great, if that makes any sense what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow. Coach Bell, I'm always floored how you sometimes take a little bit of time to try to put those words into a perspective. Maybe I can help you with it because, a wise man told me one time, in order to be wise, listening and understanding propels you to be able to be wise. So I've listened and I understand, but I also know that the mentality of the USA propels those that they compete against to raise their level to a level that all the viewers can see the level of excellence.
Yes.
And so, I guess when we're out there competing in gymnastics, I watched the girl Simone on the floor exercise. I mean, she was doing flips and jumps and all kinds of things and making sure. And just the little thing between the USA and another country that could be 5 points behind or 2 points behind is all predicated on when you complete your you don't call it a dance. You call it when you complete your performance as a gymnast, you are primarily graded. Correct me if I'm wrong. On your finishing of the landing.
Yes.
So when you land appropriate, that is conclusion to the level in which the judges can give you certain points. And I'm sitting there watching and these people have performed, and all of a sudden, they do a dismount and they stumble. So they go from being excellent to just being good. And I think for us as a U.S. citizen, we have a lot, like you said, the best of the best. We got the best coaches and the best teachers and some of the best equipment. And, we're not a third world country. And we've got the best trainers. And now you got, like in college, you got, if you want to be a good student and a good athlete, we got academic coaches that go with the team when they travel. You didn't have that when you were playing at Georgetown. Academic coaches traveling with you.
Yeah, we had that coach. We had the academic advisor traveling with us everywhere we went.
It's probably a little bit more enhanced now with modernization of technology.
They probably got a couple of, but one person was to help all 15 of us. Now they probably got at least 5 that travel with you. I'm sure,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's a must. You got to have that.
And so that kind of, like old folks used to say, that kind of befuddles me a little bit because, don't take that word down, befuddle.
Yeah.
Which, kind of, because what happens is you got, in these different countries, they are assembling the best of what they have. And now you have, when you look around like in the USA run to the gold in men's basketball, back in the day, all these foreign teams had foreigners. Now, a lot of the foreign teams are good with players that have come over to the United States and have sharpened the knife of their craft. And they go back and play with their country.
Yeah.
So, you're looking at teams like like I said, the kid from Denver, you know, he got really, really good from playing with Denver. Then he go back and play with his home country and make them a contender, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see how all that unfolds, how all of it, has unfolded. And, like we have the World Cup, and then every 4 years you have the Olympics. It's kind of cool to see these different countries, and to take it a step further. I enjoy watching the Olympics so much because then you're seeing the rise of different sports, and I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. Is that every country, well, not every, but most of the countries have a staple sport that they kind of they call that's their sport. Like we have football, but football overseas is soccer. And you look at some of the countries like, I want to say China and Korea, you know, they really like table tennis. Mm-hmm. You know, they're really good at that, you know. And I guess geographically, some of the countries are really good at certain things based on the makeup of their country, you know.
Definitely, Coach. It's
you were over there for a long period of time, you know.
Yeah. It's like you said, you touched on being overseas. It's a different animal, especially living over there for 8 months, like we did. And so, speaking of which, we once again we're with Coach Roland C. Ross Jr. of Christopher Newport University, assistant basketball coach at Christopher Newport University. We have a trip. Our next trip going to Argentina is on September 2nd, 2024. And we'll be down there for 7 days for our job interviews for our male and female clients. So we'll be leaving the United States on September 2nd, arriving on September 3rd. And our interviews will begin on the 3rd through the 10th down in Argentina. Coach, we are running out of time here. I know I promised that we would not stay long tonight. We are approaching almost 40 minutes. But in closing, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to elaborate a little bit. We talked about it earlier, and I promised that I would work it into our script for tonight. I want you to talk a little bit about overcoming frustrations as a player and what you guys preach to your players. Young people clearly get frustrated. They are young people. When things don't go their way, frustration can step in. What do you, as a championship winning coach, how do you deal with frustrations with your players? And what do you recommend to some AAU coaches or high school coaches or whatever? And what do you recommend? What are your recommendations?
Well, the first thing is you probably, as a suggestion, get to really know your personnel as much as you can. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. You know, there are, in the landscape of athletics this day and time, and mental health, and just the rise of, trying to fulfill your dream as a player kind of lends itself to different type of what I would call issues. And what we do at Christopher Newport is, especially, in the game of basketball, everybody wants to win. And so we talk to our guys in terms of trying to get them to understand a mindset. The mindset is, don't worry about the results. Just worry about the process. The results will take care of itself. And that's hard for young people, much less adults, because, most adults are going to worry about the here and the now, and they're not worried about the process. And sometimes the process can lend itself to you thinking big picture. And so I think if we, sometimes as parenting, sometimes as employers with employees, if we can get, just like with the clients going over to interview, if you worry about the process, am I doing certain things right? Am I approaching things right? Then the results will take care of itself. Sometimes we get caught out, and again, I'm not a counselor or a doctor, but I've had a little bit of interaction and seen it on different occasions like with the AAU, especially now with the AAU, because the AAU is becoming so popular at the highest level that kids and their parents are more concerned about retaining a scholarship, and anxiety and pressure and all those things occur, and it hinders your performance. And so they are, probably, on one of the podcasts that we'll do are identifying, we may try to do that sooner than later, as a coach or as a parent or as an employee, just identifying certain signs of what we would call unwanted behavior. Old folks used to say, "Oh, well, that's just a kid acting like a kid, and he's just acting out." Well, I actually watched the Olympics, and that's why just my little assessment was, I thought it was good. I didn't see the game as much as I probably would have liked to, but I think it's good to overcome variables. It makes you stronger, and it lessens the anxiety going forward. But when you start talking about young people, the age is probably 16 to 26, between high school, college, and starting a professional career, that 10-year window, frustration can occur from a multitude of different ways and places. And some of the most successful people have been able to handle how not to become anxietized or overwhelmed or extremely frustrated with things that they have no control over. So, what we've done, like I said, at Christopher Newport is, we've tried to really, really understand our personnel as best we can. That's why at our level, we can recruit and assess players for a longer period of time than sometimes at the highest level. At the highest level in Division I, sometimes they're more result driven than they are process driven. And I think if you find a way to go through the process, like learning, that everything I'm talking about has a lot to do with life in general. Learning how to prepare your young person if they're in high school, preparing them for college. And then once they get to college, making sure that the college is doing due diligence by preparing them for the professional career. But overcoming frustration, case in point, I sat there and I watched Noah the track runner.
Noah Lyles, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I watched him real closely, and some of it is by design, where they take the top two out of a race and go to the finals, and sometimes you don't want to press as hard, and then mentally he gets himself prepared for the finals, but understand that he was sick in the 200, and he wanted to get double gold. Now, the beauty of it is that even in the midst of his sickness, he still got a bronze medal. So, is that going to erase?
And being that you brought that up, Coach, not to cut you off, they not testing in the Olympics anymore for COVID? Clearly not.
I'm not too sure when it occurred and how long they've been there. And my understanding was, a couple of days ago. But, medically, I'm not too sure about how all that transpired.
Yeah.
But I do know from what I saw how you overcome frustration, because he was so animated about trying to get 2 gold medals.
Right.
That it was unfortunate that his health wasn't as at 100% like he wanted it to be. So now, taking that a step further, the young people who are watching this, who are, want to be in the same position like that he was, where's the teaching in this? This is my point. Where is the teaching and the learning? So, I was excited that he was able to hopefully get some kind of relief for how he was feeling, but it happened today. A lot of frustrations with the U.S. team, being down by so many, but able to overcome the frustration with a win. Teaching point. There's a teaching point there for all the people that are listening and viewing, especially the ones that are abroad, that are, have a tougher situation trying to get their kids or clients to overcome variables that that they can control. So Noah was a good example. I watched in the NCAA Girls Championship, NCAA Division I Girls Championship, the number 1 half miler in the country. She was going to win it hands down, and had she won it, she'd been able to go to the Olympics. After the first lap, she got tripped up and fell. You remember that, Milt? She fell in the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overcoming that frustration and taking it a step further. Anything that is worthwhile having is worthwhile going through. You got to go through something in order to become better at a lot of things. And I think the message that we're trying to say is that as long as you live and breathe and got your full sound mind, there are going to be frustrated moments that you're going to have in your life on all fronts. It could be finances, it could be academics, it could be relationships, it can be a multitude of things. But you do not solve the frustration by becoming frustrated even more. You have to find a way to balance it out with having to learn a lesson from it so that you won't repeat it.
Yes, Coach. Yes, indeed. Coach, we'll end up there for tonight. We will be back in a couple days. You and we have been on point. Last week, we want to thank all of our listeners that joined in with Coach Ross, and this is our third episode of Coach's Corner for our Milton Bell Global podcast. And once again, today, August 8th, 2024, we're blessed to have Coach Roland C. Ross Jr., national champion in Division III, Christopher Newport University. We touched on a lot of topics tonight, Coach. Team USA, men and female and men pro basketball. We've given shouts out to our new clients, Shamay Lilly and Janae Crawford, and talked a little bit about our Argentina trip on September 2nd, 2024 until the 10th. And you gave a great class. You gave a great class, a master class on what overcoming frustrations as a player is all about. And for those coaches that are listening, you also gave some insight into your mentality when it comes to dealing with your players. You've been doing this more than 40 years. So you, if you don't if you don't understand what it takes, then no one knows. So it's a pleasure and an honor, as usual, Coach, to have you on here with us. Anyone that has any questions or want to reach out to Coach with any questions that you may have for him, you guys can call our company cell phone, area code 702-908-1501. You can also email us at our company email, which is milton.bell@miltonbellbasketball.com. That our email is milton.bell@miltonbellbasketball.com. Coach Ross, any closing words, any positive words? I know we normally have Miss Ross on here to say some words and some prayers to us. How about you take us on out tonight with some positive words of your own?
Well, again, I want to thank you for having me, and I'm just a vessel, man, just trying to be able to render some suggestions and a little advice. I did want to say for the listeners, hopefully, on Sundays, depending on how Coach Bell, sees it, we're going to have a different topic for the next couple of Sundays. This is what we call pre-Memorial Day, back to school. A lot of high schools and colleges are ending the summer and they're going back to school. And then probably the next couple podcasts to come will be preparation for the unknown, and that's something that we live by every day, is dealing with the unknown, And so we want to prepare our kids and these college kids, the high school kids, and even the pro kids, how to deal with some of the unknown. And that is the more prepared you are, the better you're going to be. So again, I thank you for having me. And
yes, sir, Coach.
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Coach. I look forward to our next program coming up here in a couple of days. And for our listeners around the globe, we appreciate everyone tuning in and listening to us on our Milton Bell Global Media podcast, Coach's Corner. Until next time, we'll be signing out, and we look forward to seeing everybody and hearing questions from everyone coming up here pretty soon. Thank you, guys.